Live to Chopper 24 right now and give you this bird's eye view of this intersection at Keel and Lawrence. Is closed for a police investigation. You can see it looks like a police SUV, a canine SUV, in fact, is involved in this.
At least 2 people were injured. That's what we know so far. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman has just arrived at the scene. She joins us now with the very latest. And what do we know at this time, Beatrice?
Gia, Nick, I'm hearing this was a wild story, so follow me as I explain to you and our viewers what happened here overnight. It was just before 4:30 when police were actually responding to some kind of a disturbance, a routine call, let's call it, at Yonge and Lawrence, and that's when things went really horribly wrong, and that's ultimately how this police canine vehicle became involved. Here's what a police source is telling CP24 this morning. So in the midst of an arrest at Yonge and Lawrence, this canine vehicle, an officer was on the scene. They found a suspect. Now, what that suspect was accused of or being taken into custody for, I'm not sure at this point, but I'm told, according to a police source, this suspect was in the midst of being arrested. He was already in handcuffs, Nick and G, when it sounds like he jumped into this canine vehicle, resisting arrest, fought this one officer, managed to jump into the vehicle, get control of this vehicle, and took off from the scene at Yonge and Lawrence in this Toronto Police Services dog vehicle in handcuffs. So that's already a wild image. Resists arrest, takes off, and ultimately is on the run and makes it here to Keel and Lawrence into this plaza. There's a Metro grocery store in this plaza. Crashes the vehicle. I'm told, according to this same police source, 2 police dogs in the back of the vehicle at the time. Thankfully, both of these dogs are totally fine, I'm told. They were checked out here on scene. They were walking around. They're okay. Now, after the suspect allegedly crashes this vehicle here, police sources tell me he then tried to get into a taxi. The taxi is parked just kind of on the far side of this plaza along Lawrence. You can see it just behind a police vehicle. The taxi driver, I'm told, spotted this, was already starting to move and get away, and that's when officers ultimately arrived and finally placed this suspect, Nick and G, under arrest. So again, started at Yonge and Lawrence, ended here at Keel and Lawrence. You mentioned 2 people taken to hospital. We're told 1 person was taken to a trauma center with non-life-threatening injuries. I believe that's the suspect at this point. And 1 person also went to local hospital. I'm told the taxi driver was the 2nd person taken to hospital, thankfully with minor injuries. So it sounds like no life-threatening injuries in question, but certainly a lot of questions about how this happened. How did this suspect manage to, while in handcuffs, resist arrest, jump into this canine vehicle, and take off from the initial scene, crash here before finally being apprehended by police. I don't have a lot of information on the suspect yet. I don't even know if he's an adult. All I know it's a male at this point, but I can tell you the duty inspector is here on scene along with many senior officers, and they're going to be answering, hopefully, some questions from reporters at some point as we try to gain a better understanding of how all this happened overnight.
Beatrice, I was going to ask you, I know this is going to be an extensive investigation. You've just arrived, but any idea when police will be giving an update on this?
That's a very good question, G. And I think they're kind of waiting to get some ducks in a row. Generally, the Special Investigations Unit gets involved if there's some kind of injury sustained in the midst of an interaction with police. I don't know how the suspect suffered any injuries here before taken to a hospital, so that's something I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking about, and something I'm sure police are waiting to get clarification on. Is the SIU going to be attending? Are they going to be a part of this investigation? Are they going to be conducting a parallel investigation of their own to figure out how this all happened? So as soon as I have more information onto when police are going to be addressing the media, again, the duty inspector is here on scene, I'll be sure to let you know as soon as possible.
Yeah, certainly a fluid situation indeed. That's our Beatrice Vaisman, working her sources, giving us the latest on this incident in that Lawrence and Keel neighborhood this morning. Thanks, Beatrice.